Well, welcome back, everyone. This is Chase. And on this 10-year anniversary episode of or series that we've been doing, where we feature alumni from the program to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the program, I'm excited to have Christian Elkins here, a product manager at Blackstone Products and the class of 2019, part of the first batch. You were the real guinea pig.
Yes,
Um,
for sure.
I think this is going to be especially interesting for people because your class is, of course, very unique in that you took a leap and jumped into a program that had no graduates, no one before you. Um, what was that like? What was, I guess, first of all, how did you find the program and what drew you into doing the degree?
Yeah, so it definitely was a big leap and it was a fun class to be a part of. I actually had been going to USU for about two and a half years before the program started. I seen I think a KSL article about the program coming out and kind of pushed it aside, continued doing engineering at the time and then when it came down to the beginning of the program starting, engineering was kicking my butt. So it was a good switch for me, and I actually started really succeeding at school, switching into the OPDD program. So
That's awesome. What was I guess, what was the draw for you? It sounds like a different look at like product that wasn't engineering, maybe a different take on like making things. What was the difference maker for you?
yeah, so engineering was a lot of theory, which I was all right with, but when it came down to it, I really wanted to work with my hands and be able to produce a product or an item and be able to have a physical item in my hand, where engineering was all theory, and it was cool to have that kind of a little bit of background there, but switching into the outdoor product design program really allowed me to take that idea, not necessarily understand all the physics and everything behind it, but be able to create something with my hands and then have a finished product and then be able to go back and say, okay, these things didn't work and be able to improve and push forward.
How conscious of the fact that the program was brand new, how much of that were you aware of going into it? And what were your thoughts going into that?
Um, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it at the time, which is probably a good thing, because it was tough at times. Being the first class and the guinea pigs, we got to determine a lot of kind of how those classes went. The curriculum was kind of there, and they had an idea of where they wanted the class to end. But we were able to help the professors and teachers kind of work through those processes throughout the class and what projects worked, what projects didn't work, what assignments worked, and things like that. So it definitely was a learning process for everybody, but it was good. I
Yeah,
don't know if I would have jumped into it as willingly, I guess, if I had thought about it more that way, but it was
yeah.
good.
It's good your cohort was as patient as you were because there was a learning curve. And I think, I mean, like credit to you all for helping us better understand what we needed to do to make this program as good as it can be. And it's funny because your class in particular, a lot of changes happened after your cohort graduated, but I hear similar things after every cohort that, oh, the program changed so much after I graduated. I hear that from the cohort
Hmm.
just, recently. It's like, oh, you're implementing this class. I wish that class had been around when I was going through the program. So, I hear similar things even, even today, and the program's now been around for 10 years, similar things that I heard, from your cohorts, like, oh wow, the program really has changed since I graduated. So maybe
Yeah, and
that's
I'm sure
good.
that's
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to continue to be that way, which it should be. I mean, jobs are progressing and different things are coming in, so
Yeah.
that's the way the program should be. It shouldn't be stagnant and continue to grow.
Yeah, I think we try to look at it like a product, right? And like and the design process is iterative and you want to keep making little tweaks along the way to improve that product further. So that's how the approach that we take to it.
That's
Um,
awesome.
what Do you have any like standout moments or memories from the program? These could be good or bad. I've phrased this as like memorable studio moments or late night like prototyping disasters in the lab. Like, do you have any highs or lows that you think of?
Um, I the biggest thing that stands out, and I've been lucky enough to stay local and be able to come to the senior exhibits for the last probably about 4 years consecutively, and the way that the um, approach to that has changed a little bit. Ours was in a kind of a tight hallway, and I had created some projects that were too big to fit in the hallway, so I got pushed out to the outer edge, and I honestly I didn't get a whole lot of people coming to see my stuff because I was kind of on the outskirts. It all worked out and everything was fine. But the different space that you guys are in now and being able to fit a lot more. And then this last one, you guys had the vehicle outside for one of the students. So that was what I was hoping for and didn't get to achieve. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
somebody got to.
Yeah. I think that was one of those learning moments is that I think early days in the program, I don't know if we fully understood that the definition of outdoor products, right, is so
Hmm.
broad. It encompasses overlanding and clothing, right? At least that was, I think that's very much the focus of the program now. And so, and I think part of that is due to people like you, right? Like wanting to push into other categories with larger products and um, that require different space.
Yep.
And I think routinely every year we do have a student that has a larger product or has a vehicle. And fortunately, that change of venue has allowed for that and provided more opportunities. We still haven't found a good way to drive anything into the TSC,
Yeah.
into the student center. That doesn't seem entirely possible, but it's nice that we can at least, position a senior next to the windows where you can point down to the rig that you designed or built out
Yep.
or pop-up trailer, anything like that. So, do you have any classes that stick out to you from your time in the program? Anything that sticks with you? Any specific like insights or courses that stuck with you?
Um, it's looking back, unfortunately, it's kind of a little bit of a blur, and trying to pick out some of those. I really enjoyed just the wide range that we had, where we you guys have now, I think, three different pathways that students can take. We were just kind of pushed into all of it, so we had sewing. If you wanted to do some hard goods, I was able to take some welding classes as well. But when it came down to um, just kind of where we were at, we were all taking the same thing. So we were working really well as teams and things. Our senior exhibit, one of our first days with Andrew, we actually went in and destroyed our tables. Um, this is 10 years ago, so hopefully maintenance and stuff doesn't come after you. But we completely disassembled our tables. We went up to the wood shop upstairs and we created like a kind of a bigger table that six of us could sit at versus two of us. And we first day got a prototype how that table was going to work, and quite a few of them fell apart throughout the semester. But it was a fun project to be able to go again, just be able to go in and work with our hands, and on day one, kind of this is what we want. We want you guys to iterate and to come up with stuff and do it.
That sounds like stories I've heard from employees who like start at a startup and they walk into the company and there's no desk. And it's one of those things where as the employee, you have to build your own desk kind of situation. I've
Hmm.
heard stories like that. And you literally built your own desks. And literally and figuratively built the program,
Mm.
which is really cool, and is kind of that lasting, whether you feel that or not, there's like a legacy that you're a part of. Maybe that sounds overly dramatic, but I mean, you all laid the foundation, literally and figuratively. Um, and even to the point that you built desks that, students after you used, which is really, really
Hmm.
interesting, really cool. Um, what was the transition like for you? You talked a little bit about your exhibit experience. Well, first of all, what was your capstone project? What was this large item that you designed that we
So
couldn't find space for you?
I had three big projects. I did a rack for the back of my Silverado with a rooftop tent on top of it. And then I had a timber sled that I did a ski rack and storage for that goes on the tunnel. So my project, I wasn't able to get the truck in there, but I took the rack off, had the tent in there, and then had a timber sled. So I took up probably about 30 feet across. So it was it was a
Yeah, and
lot of space.
that was an interesting venue. That's over in the arts building, and you were out kind of in the foyer area
Hmm.
between like landscape architecture and the art gallery and the theater. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
What was your transition like in your life after? I can't even say life after Logan because you're still here, but
Yeah.
your like college to career transition.
So I, excuse me, I started out in a cut and sew shop. So we were doing promotional items that you would pick up at trade shows. So little bags and things like that. I didn't start in the outdoor industry. Because of the cut and sew experience that we had during school, I was able to jump into that, and I was doing pattern making and then overseeing the sewing, and doing a little bit of marketing. And that was right before COVID. um, COVID hit, and unfortunately, that market just stopped. I mean, trade shows, things completely stopped. So we had to pivot and try to figure out kind of what can we do to keep the company going. So I was able to push out quite a few new products for that little shop. We started with masks and actually did fairly well with those. And then we started doing some search and rescue gear. We did a chest pack that I actually first prototyped through the program, and I was able to kind of finalize that design and worked with my search and rescue team locally to figure out what they wanted. We produced that and were able to sell quite a few to our team and throughout the state. But ultimately, COVID kind of killed that company. Um, and and at that point, I was able to make the transition to Blackstone, which is still local, and start as a product manager there. So I started with covers, coming from cut and sew, and I have a junior under me now that does the covers, and I was able to move into some of our hard goods and our griddles and things. So um, I was able to get back into the outdoor space, and the great thing with Blackstone is I'm able to push what we do. Obviously, we're in outdoor cooking, but we're able to kind of push the different markets that we're going into. So I'm able to explore more of the outdoor industry and more of those things. So it's been fun.
What does it look like to be a product manager? What's your day to day like? And of course, I'm sure every day is different, but what are some of those core aspects of being a good product manager?
Yeah, so product management, I get to work with a wide range of people. So I don't oversee a team of people, but I oversee a product that goes through multiple teams to get done. So we have in-house ID, industrial designers that will help design and kind of work through the different ideas that I have, as well as teammates. We get to work through that brainstorm together, work with them, and then we have an engineering team that does all of our 3D models and drawings, and then a lot of my job is once we get those final designs and things, I'm working with our China factories and teams and Asia team to make those products real. So I work through the prototype with them, and then testing with our engineering team, and then work through marketing and pricing with other teams to work out that final product to push to market. So I'm it's a lot of emails and a lot of unfortunate late night meetings with overseas factories and things.
Yeah, but did you feel like I guess what was your expectation going into the program? Like did you have a dream position and I guess did you expect yourself to be working more on the product management side? I guess where did you anticipate you'd end up versus where you're at now?
Um, I, Going through the program, I really enjoyed kind of the idea and coming up with those concepts. I found I have an idea, but I'm not very good at drawing or modeling those types of things. So it was hard sometimes for me to take what's in my brain and myself put it onto paper and communicate that. So product management actually has been a fantastic final place for me. I shouldn't say final place, but a place for me now because I can have those ideas and be able to voice those ideas, but then I can work through somebody else to be able to put it on paper and make my ideas come to life. I really enjoy the brainstorming and working with others to come up with those ideas and kind of taking charge and leading those brainstorms to come up with a product that the end user is going to be able to use and enjoy, and that we can market and actually sell. Where um, some of those other categories are very good at coming up with ideas, but maybe those ideas aren't finalized or smooth enough to push out straight to the market. So
Yeah,
um, for me, it was the perfect kind of career path, um, and it's worked out well for me.
that's awesome. Can you give a little I guess an overview of Blackstone for those who don't know? It's an awesome company that's just here local, close to the university. It's amazing that we have you all in our backyard, but can you just give a little overview of the company for those
Yeah,
who don't know?
absolutely. So we actually are the biggest. We just topped a couple other companies, but we are the biggest outdoor cooking manufacturer and company, which is funny because a lot of people haven't heard of Blackstone. We do griddles, so your flat top griddles that you see out in the backyard. We have multiple different sizes. We have started getting into pellets and the camping realm, which has been a very fun project for myself. Um, but yeah, outdoor cooking is our big thing. We're It's only been around for, let's see, I think we're coming up on 20 years. So it's
Wow,
yeah, relatively young company, but we've taken the outdoor cooking market by storm and have been able to overcome quite a few competitors and be able to create a good product for you people and backyards
that's
around.
awesome. That's great. Um, so I think this is always a question that comes up, and like for a lot of like students that are about to graduate, it's like how long do you feel like it takes for you to feel like you belong in the industry, and to feel like you know what you're doing, and maybe you never fully know what you're doing or feel like you know, but how long do you feel like it took you to kind of get your legs under you? And maybe that's different because you were at a previous company under really interesting circumstances versus where you're at now at Blackstone, a different situation.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I still don't feel like I have my legs under me. I'm still floundering a little bit and trying to uh, stay above water. But um, the my experience being able to come from more of that hands-on cut and sew, and then be able to apply that in kind of a bigger sense, being able to oversee a lot more products and have that hands-on really helped. It still took me probably a year or so at Blackstone to feel comfortable with overseeing a product and not having somebody above me to um, be able to verify, I guess, everything that I'm doing and make some heavy choices on products that are going to ultimately make it to market. And there's still times I've got products out on the market that I'm still trying to um, not necessarily fix, but improve after getting feedback and things. So it's an ongoing process, but year and a half before I was really comfortable making those decisions on my own.
Oh, that's great. That's good. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing, and I'm
Yeah.
8 years into my job here, and my job looks different every day. So maybe that's something you never completely figured out, to your point. But um, I guess maybe as a kind of a final thought, like what are there any thoughts or advice that you would give to not just our students, but anyone looking to break into this industry? Like what recommendations or feedback would you have for anyone who wants to get into product creation broadly?
Yeah. I think the one of the biggest things is don't necessarily pigeonhole yourself. I think this goes for any degree or work, but be willing to take the sewing manufacturer job. It may not be exactly where you want to end up, but it's going to give you experience to get to where you want. Some of the and it's tough because this program is designed for outdoor product. It's in the name, and that's where everybody wants to end up. And sometimes it's hard to say, okay, I'm going to take this job in cooking or something that you don't necessarily see as the outdoor industry, but then let it grow and either take that experience into another job or be able to maybe push that company into to the realm that you want to be in. I've Blackstone is open to any of our ideas, which has been awesome. So I've been able to create griddles that are pushing us into the camp more into the camping world. I've been able to attend overlanding expos and things like that, which is what I was really interested in. And who knows? I mean, in 5, 10 years, we may be more in that overland space because it's something that I'm interested in and able to kind of have that backing of Blackstone to be able to push into. So take any experience that's thrown at you and build off of it. That's the
Christian, we're
biggest
going to
thing.
just play that for every new student. That was really, that's, I think that's really valuable advice because while the name of the program feels very niche and very specific, like the skill set that you gain, I hope feels very applicable and transferable. Like, I mean, you could be a product designer, manager for any type of consumer product company with the skill set that you have.
Yep.
And any skill that you develop or knowledge that you gain in a field outside of outdoor is relevant to outdoor. So I think that's great. I I really would love every new student to hear that. Thank you. That was great.
Yep.
Um, I guess any parting thoughts? This is really great. It's just always good to catch up with you and see you at every exhibit. Like you're so supportive, and I mean it's fun for us that our alums like to stick around and stay
Hmm.
involved. And I just appreciate you being willing to share your experience and your advice. This is really great.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me.